Hey, how's it going, everybody? And welcome to another exciting episode of Channel X, the only show on Thursdays that starts the weekend early. I am your host, Tom Dog 247. As always, I'm Tom Dog all day and Tom Dog all night. Well, baby, all right. So I figured I'd wear something a little bit different this week than the usual gimmicks that I usually wear. So, plus also, we'll talk about this during the monologue. But but yeah, wanted to dress up a little bit and do apologize for running a little late. I've been a little busy and everything like that, trying to get everything together what I'm going to be talking about tonight because it's going to be a pretty interesting episode, uh, to say the least. And so yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and we're going to try to at least still have a good time. So yeah. um. So um. Let's see. Let's do the shout outs and the plugs and everything. Um, Big shout out to everybody over at the Dorkening Podcast Network. Um, Love everything that these guys are doing and everything like that. Um, yeah, check this out and check out the Dorkening Podcast Network wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You'll love them just as much as I do, and just a bunch of great podcasters doing in there and doing what they do best, and they do it very, very well each and every week for your listening pleasure. So check them out wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Also, you could check out, by all means, check out my good friend Melly Plays over at Melly Playful and Tengu over on YouTube. She they do a wonderful job playing the games that you love to play, and you'll love watching them play those games. So check it out on YouTube over at Melly Playful and Tengu over on YouTube. And this episode is brought to you by M&J Video Games and Collectibles. You could trade in your old video games and consoles from retro video games, accessories, and systems. You can also trade in your DVD box sets and Blu-rays. You can also trade in your sports cards and novelty items, as well as wrestling collectibles and autographed items spanning from sports, wrestling, and actors. And if you happen to be in the Southington, Connecticut area and you want to check out their amazing, amazing store, it's an awesome store. You definitely got to check it out. And adding new stuff all the time. And I just went there uh, the other day to say hi. And and you all should do the same if you happen to be in the area. So, so if you want to know where in Southington, where it's at, and you want to know, uh, where the store is at and everything, and a list of events that they got going on, check out their website over at mjvideogames.com. Also, while you're in Southington, you can check out the Hardcore Sweet Bakery um, to get your snack on and everything. We've got some. They have some awesome, awesome cakes and other baked goods for your enjoyment, and you'll love it just as much as I do. And check them out over at their website. Um, for more information, check out their website over at hardcoresweetbakery.com. And you need something to wash down these those wonderful baked goods, you could check out the Witch Doctor Brewing Company, which is also in Southington, and check out their website over at if you love if you love um, local brew IPA, then it's the best. Then definitely check out Witch Doctor, and their website is witchdoctorbrewing.com. Definitely worth checking out. So yeah, I decided to wear this new ensemble, this outfit and everything. I feel very comfortable with this combo that I have, and I'm not showing you the pants because it's not that kind of show. Yeah, it's an adult show, but if you want to see it, you're gonna have to check my OnlyFans. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Um, but no, I don't know. I had something caught in my throat and everything, and I think I need my tonsils removed or something. I don't know. Anywho, but yeah, going back to this, I love this outfit. I really do, and I've been getting tons and tons of compliments. Now, I'm telling you this story to tell you this one. As you know, I've been doing that whole this ever since I brought it up during since February or so about um about a pop about a trend on TikTok going to um go about random women going to Home Depot and meeting a guy, meeting men and getting dating them and trying to marry them and then everything like that. Pretty much basically you know date men and everything like that. Pick up a date because that's pretty much the olden days of what they used to do. So I've been failing miserably on my adventure out there, and I will admit to that, and mainly because of the fact I haven't really been trying. So that's the thing. So I go ahead and uh, you know, a couple weeks, a few weeks ago, um, I was on vacation, And so I wanted to look good. I wanted to look good. I didn't want to wear the same old shit that I wore. So I got a pair of pants, got a couple pairs of pants, and went to Walmart, picked the happened to see this, and I said, you know what, it's the last one of my size. I want to get it, got it, and it just wasn't good enough. So while I was in New York, vacationing, there was a nearby Walmart. So went in there, grabbed up this ensemble because it matched. So it brings out it literally does bring out the orange and everything like that. So looking kind of snazzy and everything like that. So lately, um, I wore it out a few times and everything like that, and I've been getting tons and tons of compliments by random women on this outfit, and more particular the shirt, this this Hawaiian shirt, and if I had you know if I had my curly wig and trimmed this down to a mustache, I could really pass off as, and of course lose some weight. I can really pass off as looking like Weird Al. So yeah, because this is something that Weird Al would wear. So yeah, it it um it looks really good and I like it. So I plan to wear this a lot. Of course, I'm gonna wash it. Okay, I'm gonna wash it. I know I do my own laundry. I know I'm not that lazy, but I do wash my laundry and I wash it well and everything. So it's really good. But yeah, I love this outfit. I really do, and I've been getting tons of compliments on it. So yeah, I love it, and I'm gonna plan on wearing it a lot more out in public and everything like that. And yeah, as I said, I'm gonna it's gonna be washed and everything, so it's not gonna smell like my musk. So yeah, but yeah, yeah, pretty good. So got a few um deaths to talk about. Basically, two that happened today, um, which we'll get into. Um, but one happened earlier this past week, and that is, earlier in the week, and that was Harry Belafonte. He passed away um, a couple of days ago, and very sad. I believe he was 96 years old, and he, not only is he a well-known musician, well-known singer, musician, uh, well-known singer, with great hits such as "Jump in the Line," which is my all-time personal favorite, and of course "Deo," um, the Banana Boat song, and he he has he's also a um, a former soldier in World War II for as a pilot, and he was a um, he served in the military in World War II in the Air Force. Um, Not sure what I forgot what rank he was. I know they probably mentioned in his obituary, and he's all. And then after he served our country and everything like that, um, he went on to write music, and he made some movies and everything like that, and it was and they were pretty good movies. But the singing, of course, is one that got him over, as that really put him on the map and everything like that. And so yeah, he he is a he was a not only that he was also a civil rights member, and so he was all for that and everything. Managed to also shake hands with Martin Luther King back in the day, and so yeah, it was and yeah, there was nothing really, nothing bad you could say about this guy, and he will be um very missed. I mean, his music will always put you in a good mood, no matter what song. And he has a nice list of songs that he has sung, um, and yeah, he's very talented and everything like that. And but yeah, we're gonna miss him very very deeply, and so yeah. Um, then a couple of deaths we heard about earlier today. um, No, well, one of them is not really a celebrity. It's more like a local. Um, he's more of a. And the guy that I'm about to talk about, he was more of a local um name in the state of Connecticut. If you ever been in Connecticut, you definitely at one time or another went to a grocery store, a supermarket by the name of Stu Leonard's, and uh, Stu Leonard's is highly um um dubbed as the Disneyland of supermarkets, and the owner of the name Stu Leonard's is Stu Leonard Senior. He passed away today at in his 90s as well too, and so yeah, nothing bad you could say about this guy. I mean, I've seen his advertisements, and he always been a very, he's he seems like a very humble man and everything. Um, so yeah, might go to Stu Leonard one of these days and at least pay some respects uh to the name and everything like that. It's a very good supermarket, very good supermarket, very good. And and of course, he will be missed. My drink is wearing out. And sorry for yawning. Um, this last one, I actually didn't know about this until my buddy Josh, um, who has been on the show a couple times already, and he t- he he messaged me on Facebook and said that Jerry Springer passed away, and I was like, what? I was like, yeah, no, yeah, he passed away. He sent me the link and to TMZ, which I already got on my notifications, and yeah, it started trending all over the place. Um, yeah, it was very sad. Um, 76, if I'm not mistaken, he passed away due to pancreatic cancer, and and of course, everybody knows his his very well known as a talk show host of the hit series Jerry Springer Show, um, which was originally based in Chicago, and then later on during the um, mid 2000s. His show ventured to uh, Stamford, Connecticut, as well as some other talk shows. Maury Povich being one of them. Coming over here to Connecticut and doing the Jerry Springer shows there, and also um, he also um, did the Judge Jerry Springer. Uh, I think it's Jerry Justice or something. I forgot what it was. But he is where he's a lawyer, and or not a lawyer, but you know, a talk show judge and everything like that. And um, prior to being on talk show, he was once a mayor, um, I believe in Chicago, and which was short lived because there was there was a uh trying to fit together. There was a scandal going on. There was a sex scandal involving him and a prostitute. So he was relieved of his duties there, and so he was well known in in politics as well too. So, but then that's when he made the transition to being a mayor, to being a talk show host, and the rest you can say is history. He's been in a few movies. His one and only movie, which is Jerry Springer Ringmaster, um, is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. And I saw that movie one time, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty cool. Oh, excuse me. And so yeah, it was what you would expect from a Jerry Springer movie. And but I don't think he was known by as Jerry Springer. I think it was known as somebody else, but it was just a name, Ringmaster. Um, but yeah, it got some mixed reviews when it came out. Um, he was also he also made a guest spot on. He also made a cameo in a couple of the movies too. One of them being, excuse me, one of them being Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, as well as a guest general manager on WWE's Monday Night Raw. So yeah, and he also he also did a show on on the W on the WWE network, which I don't know if you can still see, but yeah, you can but yeah, he also did a show on the WWE network, and which is which was weird. And he was also a game show host as well too on the Game Show Network, with which was a short-lived Baggage. So yeah, so a very big list and everything. And that one uh shocked me the most because of I pretty much idolized Cherry and everything like that in many ways. And it, I always loved the Jerry Springer show, no matter if whether at the time was real or fake or anything like that, it was still very good to watch, and always had a good time. One of my favorite moments of the Jerry Springer show, and I bring this up before um, we continue on with the show. There was one where there was a women in white lace, in white lingerie. You almost see everything. and she was doing a massage onto this guy and everything like that. And the shocking thing about it was, um, the shocking thing about it was that she was talking very sensual to this man while she was giving him a massage and everything, and he was just smitten and all that stuff. Next thing you know, um, she revealed that she was actually a man, and so yeah, the audience went crazy and everything, and it was just pretty much chaotic, and the show crossed a lot of boundaries at the time too, because like, even when if you watch a lot of documentaries of the in the 90s, especially the one the 90 some 90s shows, um like a docu series on the 90s and on Vice. If you ever come across to watching it, I strongly suggest that you do. It's a very good show. um and they talk a little bit about the talk shows and everything, and one of them was Jerry Springer. And it was one of those shows where they wanted to do things differently than all the other talk shows that you're accustomed to. You had your Phil Don at the time. There was Phil Donahue, um Sally Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake, um Jenny Jones, um, the Richard Bay Show, um, and a lot others. And one of the shows prior to that, which was in the late, mostly in the late '80s, mid to late '80s, Geraldo Rivera is one of them that definitely comes to mind, and then as well as Morton Downey Jr. And those shows were pretty crazy. Morton Downey, though, he was um more crazier one, because it was off the wall and you never would have seen it. And I actually liked that show at the time, but I was too young to see it and everything like that. But it was really pushing it. But Jerry Springer, when he came onto the page, he didn't want to do a regular talk show. He didn't want to do just like the regular um talk show, like Sally Jesse Raphael would do, or Oprah, or um or or Ricky Lake at the time. And yeah, it was more much different than all those other talk shows. And it would get into a fight where, a point you know where there would be swearing and cussing, and swearing and fighting. Sometimes um, some nudity would come out, um, and of course, the you know a woman who's really a man and everything like that. It's still awesome, and throwing chairs. I remember there was one where the fight was so out of control that it just got too crazy and everything. So they, they pretty much cut it short. And so yeah, so yeah, because of the wild nature of his program, um, FCC was on his watch. At the same time, the FCC was targeting Howard Stern for his radio shows, and so he was, but when it came to television, he was like, pretty much number one on the FCC radar. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. But late then, years went by, and then it was exposed that they're not, that that these were like paid actors and everything. And and it was just like, it was pretty crazy. But still, nonetheless, we all know that, but then, even though that they were all fake, when it was exposed that the guests that he would have on are not, are basically actors or just random people. It was it was pretty. Still, everybody loved it and nobody cared. It was really, really good, and um, yeah, it was really, really good, and so yeah, can't mess with that. But you know, Steve Wilkos, who was originally his which was Jerry Springer's number one um, head security guy. Um, he ventured out to do his own show, and and even at whenever Jerry was absent, there would be times where Steve would fill in for Jerry, whether whether Jerry was sick um, or anything else for that matter. It was it was still good. It was so good, and because of that, Steve Wilkos had his own show, which was a little bit tamer than than Jerry Springer, but it still had that f- that flavor, but not much, because Steve was more um, not taking any bullshit, not like Jerry Springer or anything like that, and just going saying, "Get off the stage, get off my stage," or something like, or "Get off my set," or whatever it is. And so Steve Wilkos was a little bit more strict, and that paid off and everything. So I don't think that there was any animosity because of that. I'm not sure. I hope not. But nonetheless, you know, Jerry Springer um, will will forever be missed, and there's like a lot of stuff on YouTube or TikTok or whatever you can, wherever you can find him and everything, and just sit down and watch some classic Jerry shows and everything. So they're definitely a must watch and everything. But yeah, definitely don't want to miss any of that. And but we are gonna miss Jerry Springer immensely. And yeah, and so um, with those three that I mentioned, Harry Belafonte, Stu Leonard Jr., and Jerry Springer, um, yeah, we're gonna pay our respects, and then put them into the Channel X Hall of Fame. So let's just do a moment of silence real quick before. Thank you. Gonna miss you all. Gonna miss you all. You guys are awesome. So, all right. Now we got that out of the way. Well, I can't really talk about um, Mandalorian because the season ended last week. Bummer. so, um, so, but I will talk about the Cocaine Bear. I finally saw the movie. You can watch it now on Peacock, and if you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend that you do. This movie is fucking crazy. Um, I also highly recommend watching the Cocaine Bear documentary. Um, so you can get the idea of how this movie came about, because it's, um in this movie was inspired by true events that actually happened, And so yeah, it I strongly recommend watching the documentary. It's a really good watch. And so yeah, the Cocaine Bear, um Cocaine Bear the movie, um it's what you would expect from a I thought that this was like a and I looked at this as thinking that, when I first saw the trailer to this movie, I thought that this was like some sort of um one of those indie films that that come direct to you know direct to digital streaming media or something like that. No, this was an actual real deal thing. This was a Universal picture. And yeah, this movie was crazy. This movie was really really crazy, and of course it was Ray Liotta's last movie uh, before his uh, before his passing, and I didn't even know that he was in this movie until um, a newer trailer of Cocaine Bear came out, and I was like, "Holy shit, Ray Liotta! Oh my god!" And then Scott Seiss, that does those TikTok videos that I love so much. It's just he's basically you know saying all these things that you want to say to the customer, but deep down you can't. But actually, that's not true because I actually said one of those things where the customer is always right. Yeah, I actually said that to a customer. No, no, not that one. Where the part where they say where I used to work here, I actually said that to a customer once. so so yeah, it was pretty cool. And pretty ballsy on my part too. So, but nonetheless, if you haven't, like I said, if you haven't seen Cocaine Bear, um, the Cocaine Bear movie, I strongly suggest that you do, and definitely watch it. Speaking of movies that you need to watch, Super Mario Brothers is the Super Mario Brothers movie is still kicking ass in theaters, being the number one, still holding on as in the number one top spot, and very close to getting to reaching 1 billion. Not a lot of films got that distinction, but when they do, they get highly credited for it, of course. And so yeah, um, and because of the and I like Shigeru Miyamoto's um, comment about the critic rating that they gave this movie. And he's like, it was like basically saying that, it doesn't matter what you said, we got your money. And this one, apparently apparently you're doing something really good because it's like, basically thanking the guys. It's like it got the attention. It really did. And so yeah, it was really good. I'm not reading the article. I didn't pull up the article, but yeah, he basically saying it's like, I don't know, these Benjamins I'm waving around like a fan say a different story. So, but nonetheless, continue kicking that ass, Mario. And I will say thank you very much to Shigeru Miyamoto for um, actually stepping in and making a an awesome movie. But I have not, I know I'm pretty much kissing its ass right now, but from the things I know, I got to see it for myself, and I still have not seen it yet. At this point, I'm just going to wait until it hits on Peacock because, from what I understand, it's coming out in May, so next month. So yeah, it's gonna be coming out soon. Coming to Peacock really really soon, and sometime next month. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. But one thing I have seen a lot, and definitely, um, it's still an awesome song, which is the the Peach love song that's sung by Jack Black as Bowser. I saw the video. Both the music, both the clip that they did in the movie. I think it's sung in the movie, but also the music video that has Jack Black in a nice uh green sequin outfit and Bowser stuff, and it's it's an awesome video. And so yeah, it can be in the running for um it could be in the running for a nomination for an Oscar, and I think I brought that up last week, but I'm going to say it again because it's awesome. So yeah, it looks really, the you know from the trailers I've seen, I know they don't do it justice, but I haven't really heard any complaints from fans who who wanted to see this movie happen for a long time, especially it righted the many wrongs that did from the live action Mario movie. And listen, I like John Leguizamo, but you know, and I'm sure he doesn't want to see it, but then he doesn't want to go and see it, but then he goes and says that they should have you know a Latin character that can and hopefully and he said and he was asked if he would ever lend his voice out in the sequel, and he would go and say, I have to look at the script first or something like that. Somewhere down the line, it's like if the opportunity came about, but you know what, you got to see the first film there, John. I mean, come on. I mean, I mean, it can't all be bitter and everything. Just give it a shot. I mean, if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. But but they're supposed to be, but let's be real. You're not gonna, if you wanted to play an Italian plumber, that's not gonna happen because Mario and Luigi are Italian. If anything, you would probably be like a side character, you know, maybe a Kong, or 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 a Toad, or maybe even a Goomba or whatever, Goomba or Koopa, doesn't matter. But you know, and yeah, they're part of me does agree that yeah, there isn't any Latin characters in video that many Latin characters in video games, especially from a Nintendo property. So yeah, maybe somewhere down the line there could be something um one of their IPs can have a Latin voice. Just saying. So yeah, but for whatever it is, I'm sure hopefully somewhere down the line that John Leguizamo can finally see the movie for what it is and everything, and hopefully it can all be behind, it could be behind him, and you can find, watch it and say, okay, yeah, and then hopefully, you know, be in the sequel, because it's already been confirmed. Because Miyamoto already confirmed this already, that there's going to be more um, movies based on Nintendo IPs. He has confirmed that. Um, people, fans are already speculating, are questioning, how would you make a Legend of Zelda movie in, you know, with Illumination? It's a good answer for that. You don't. You could probably, or if you want to do it with through Illumination, don't CGI the movie, unless the only way you can CGI the movie is if you use the same animation that Spider-Man and Enter the Spider-Verse, or Into the Spider-Verse, or whatever, the one with Miles Morales, the Ninja Turtle movie that's coming out. You can do something with it if you use that same animation. Number one, it would be a first for Illumination instead of having all CGI. And with that style of animation, you can make something happen with that. And I think you could pull, Illumination could pull that off easily. Metroid, um, I can see them doing a Metroid movie with that animation, but on this one, it would be a little bit more serious than funny. Um, which would also be another first, because Illumination, you think of a kid, there's too much of a kids film, but I want to see them do like a really serious role with that. Give them, you know, an an action packed film. You can have some humor, you know, just a touch of humor. Maybe have Samus say something, you know, cheesy and everything like that. Say something, you know, even though she would have like a snappy comeback, say something like, say a smart ass remark, but everyone would just have a quick chuck, but still make it badass and everything like that. I think would be pretty awesome. But but really just give it a serious tone. Same thing. Star Fox. You can have a combination of with Star Fox. You can have the combination of the both. Same with Kirby. Um, because if there's going to be a Kirby movie, come on. Well, I mean, I would love to see it. We need to see a Kirby movie. I would love to see a Kirby movie. Just saying. Um, and I know um, that the next game I'm talking about is not a Nintendo property, but I would like to see Mega Man uh, done with Illumination as well too. They could do a lot with that one. So yeah, um, but as far as Legend of Zelda, you can really pull it off, especially um, with some of the new type of animation that a lot of movies have been using lately. Like I said, the two animated Spider-Man movies that are um, you know uh, that Sony has done, definitely they can pull it off. And of course, the upcoming Ninja Turtles movie, which is coming out the day after my birthday. So yeah. So yeah, that's my belated birthday present that I'm going to go see in theaters. But yeah, that it can happen. It literally can happen. Um, but but yeah, and it's like but yeah, let us know in the comments what other um what Nintendo IP would you like to see um on the big screen other than the ones that I just mentioned, unless you agree with me. And then yeah, I can see them doing Castlevania as well too. I can see Castlevania on there, and of course I know it's not a Nintendo property, but still, I would like to see it on the big screen. I know Castlevania is doing really well on Netflix, the series, but give it something else. I, I actually know Kid Icarus. I think Kid Icarus lately does not get enough love. Um, I would like to see Kid Icarus on the big screen. They can really do something with that. They can. They can really pull. They can really pull that off. Um, maybe even bring in Captain N. I know it's not a Nintendo property. I mean, well, it's under the name, Captain Nintendo. But maybe, maybe bring the band back together and do Captain N the Game Master. I would love to see that movie. Come on, let's make something happen. That'll be really cool. Actually, I can see them doing Punch Out. I can see them doing Punch Out, like an animated boxing movie. That would be cool. That would really be cool. They can do it. They can do it and be like, hey, oh, snap. But who would you have, Mike? Would you have like a CGI Mike Tyson, or would you have a CGI Mr. Dream? Mr. Dream. No offense to Mike Tyson, but maybe have a cameo in the movie. Maybe have some sort of cameo in the movie. I'm just saying that'll be awesome. But yeah, I can see them doing. I can see Punch Out on there. All leading up to Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers the movie. They can do it. They can do it. But anywho, real quickly, um, getting a little bit to the serious thing, and this is probably where it's going to start going downhill for a while. But we gotta talk about it. If we don't talk about it, then you know we got to throw in some sort of entertainment at least, and that is Joe Biden announced that he was going to run for re-election in 2024, and a lot of people are saying that he's too old. He's going to be in his 80s um, if he wins 2024. Um, and to be honest with I'm really getting sick and tired of this, about this age shaming. Age is just a number, folks. It really is. It's just a number. I, it, if Biden thinks that he can still run for re-election, is well enough, old enough to run for re-election, then God bless him. Let him do it. He's already the oldest president um in office. He's already the oldest president in office right now. So yeah, um, whether or not the oppose, which I'm not going to get into. I'm not really worried about that. But but with Donald Trump though, um, you know, whatever the case may be, we'll get to that some other time on another time. But the thing is though, but with Joe Biden, he can. I mean, if he feels like he can run for a second term, then God bless him. God bless him. You know, and it's like, listen, and that's just saying that hey, age is and I agree with him. Age is just a number. That's all it is. It's just a number. I'm 44. I'm going to be 45, and people say that I should just leave. Turn the cameras off and never turn them back on again. And I'm not going to do that. It's like, listen, I'm still going to do this shit on my deathbed. I mean, when I, I'm going to do one. My very last episode is when the day before I die. That's what I'm going to do, and that's when I'm going to turn them off and say goodbye, and then I flatline. I'm serious. I'm going to do that. I'm doing that. It's like I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's like I'm going to, you're never too old to do something that you're never too old, and that's what it is. Age is just a number. If you feel like you're gonna, if you feel like you're gonna run again, if you feel if you feel like you can still go, no matter how old you are, then do it. Don't give up. Don't give up. So, but yeah, um, but I wish Joe Biden nothing but the best. Um, in the reelection. Now we have one more piece of material to talk about before we turn off the cameras and call it a night. And that is the bombshell news that was brought up on Monday between Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon, both um, both leaving the news networks, Fox News and CNN. Tucker Carlson was the first big announcement to be addressed by this, and he was all set, raring to go on Monday. Getting ready to do his show for the for his evening show, and apparently, what happened? He got the word that Fox News said that they were parting ways with Tucker Carlson. And what I got to say about that? Good. Bye bye, fuckface. So yeah, bye bye. And to add insult to injury, they had these pictures, these, I guess, these banners on the side of the building there. Um, with some of the anchors that are with the Fox News studios, and Tucker Carlson's face was one of them. That has been torn down, and that has been taken down. And the only thing I said, did somebody light it on fire? Because I would love to see that. So yeah, um, but also in a very unusual situation, which was actually a shocker because I did not expect this. Don Lemon uh, parted ways with CNN just hours later, just just about like an hour later, and a lot of people were shocked about this, and I am too. I mean, I like Don Lemon. He's a good, he is a good uh, news anchor and everything like that. But there was a lot, there was a lot of controversy between with Don Lemon, um, because when they when CNN moved him over to the to the morning show, he said he made some comments that were inappropriate, were offensive towards women, because basically he was questioning, basically questioning the age of one of a female politician, and he was this guy, and I think I brought this up on an episode before, where talking about passing in the past their prime, um, and he was explaining that on Google, um, they these words weren't, so basically what was pretty much taken out of context, whatever, but but bottom line, he should never have said it. And he did apologize for that, and we kind of left it alone. But basically what was said is that that she's past her prime and everything, and and Don brought down what was about, if you're like in your in your 40s, mid early to mid 40s, you're you know you're you past what past your prime. um when you when you reach your 40s, you're past your prime. And I'm not being malicious about it, but I kind of disagree about it, because like I just said about Joe Biden, age is just a number, and if you feel like you can still go, then by all means do it. You know, it doesn't matter how old you are. And so yeah, it was cringe. It really was cringe, but it should not, it should not have been said. And his Don's female co-host took offense to that, and yeah, it was a big thing, big thing. But excuse me. But we still don't know. Um, we really don't know the real story behind, um, and as to why Don Lemon was um let go. With Tucker Carlson, you knew, we kind of knew the writing was on the wall, because of with the Dominion lawsuit, and of course we got another one with another voting system, um for the same thing, for which is going to be like billions of dollars. So I you know with Tucker Carlson, you kind of expected that, especially with all the with all the allegations, especially when his name was thrown under the bus and everything like that. However, I would like to throw Tucker Carlson under the bus and me stepping on the gas. Just saying. because everybody knows how I feel about Tucker Carlson, because I did a whole did a whole bit on that like a month or so few months ago, with the whole M&M's thing. Still one of my most popular episodes, especially when I did the when I pretty much basically roasted, pretty much talked shit about him, and did did my best uh, Dr. Phil voice, and read a letter. And I might do something like that again. Only this time I might have somebody else in mind. Because I'm going to turn that into a bit, because they're with the letters to Trump book that's out. I got some ideas, and nobody's going to steal them because I'm not going to say it. So there. But anyways, but no, but yeah. So, but what I've noticed coming from this this thing is parting of the ways, and I want to take um these last few minutes to talk about the phrase parting of the ways. Parting of the ways. Um, Basically, it's a safer term to use to mask the noise. Because if you said that, you know, Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox News and Don Lemon was fired from CNN, it would make it would make a huge story, and they'd be like, "What the hell happened? Why? Why?" People asking why and everything like that. So parting of the ways is a lot safer than saying, "Yeah, it still makes a lot of noise, but it's not as bad." And because people would get the wrong idea and get the whole story misconstrued and be like, "Oh, Tucker Carlson should not have gotten fired by that." But yeah, we all know from what I just said about with the lawsuits that Fox News is going under, and that yeah, we all know that the writing was on. We all know though that the writing was on the wall, and he was he was going to be going. But with Don Lemon parting of the way, so but yeah, questions can be asked, but not enough to say, oh, this bullshit, this bullshit. I'm just saying. Plus, it also hides the identity of what actually happened behind closed doors that we don't know about. So I'm not, I'm not defending, I'm not white knighting for anybody. I'm just want to know. I want to understand why this thing happened. And you know what? The word "parting of the ways" is not really a bad phrase to use, because you know because people use it all the time, especially you know when in business, when two companies um, work together to try to become a good to become a good thing for the community. um, when there's different ideas and nobody can get along because of those opinions in business, there's parting of the ways like that. um, Same thing with employee and employer. There could be parting of the ways of that, which we saw here. And then in media, whether it's on television or radio, there's always parting of the ways on that as we saw from here. I'm going to use myself an example because I did this at one point, parting of the way, part ways with something. I mentioned many, many times about where I started from with my time at Sky 13 and everything like that, um, back in Waterbury, Connecticut. And at the time, you know, I I was working for Channel 13 from 1996 to 2011. And during that time, I made the transition from Wrestling Prime to Channel X, which is why both of these shows are successful here, or can be. But in all seriousness, um, I made that transition over to here, because I'll tell you why. For those who don't understand, it's not a bad thing or anything like that. In the mid 2000s, there was an incident that I did, um, where I sniffed some nail glue. A friend of mine had nail glue on there, and I said, "Oh, what is that? Oh, this is nail glue." I was like, "Oh, let me." I was like, "Does it have a excuse me? I mean, does it have a fragrance?" And and everything. So I took the bottle, and I'm using these eye drops as an example, and I basically go, "Oh wow, smells nice," like that. I was like, "It smells pretty good," and that's all I did. Next day, I get a phone call from my boss of the studio's boss. His name is Stephen Dara. Love the guy. Still have a good relationship with him to this day. He, he called me and said, "What happened on the show last night?" I said, "What are you talking about? Nothing happened on the show last night." It's like, "You sure?" It's like, "You sure nothing happened?" It's like, "Yeah, everything's fine. What happened? Like, what's going on?" And it's like, "Well, we had a complaint that's saying that you sniffed nail glue." I said, "What? What are you talking about? I didn't sniff nail glue." I said, "You didn't." It's like I didn't. It's like I sniffed it, but I didn't. But not in the way that the Greater Waterbury Cable Council is saying, which is the Diet Coke of the FCC, the Greater Waterbury Cable Council, and they are the scum of the earth. And so yeah, I explained to him. I explained to him what happened. So I go and sniff and I explained to him, I said, "This is all I did." And he said, this, and he said, of course he saw the tape, and yeah, he believes me and everything, but GWC doesn't want to hear it. They want to, um, they left me with no choice but um, to cancel your show for a whole year. And I wanted to say, well, is there any way I can fight this so that maybe have my suspension reduced? They said, and this is what Steve said. He said, you do have that right to do so, but the Greater Waterbury, but the GWCC doesn't want you to, um doesn't want to hear from you. They don't want to hear your side of the story because they said, quote, "waste of time." So I pretty much bit the bullet and I said, all right, if that's what they want, I mean, whatever. And so I was a little bit disappointed, a little bit disappointed. I wasn't mad at Steve in any way. I want to clear that out right now. Uh, like I said, Steve Mandera is a, you know, wonderful man, and we've always had a great relationship, um, to this very day. But, um, so yeah, so a whole year I was miserable. I was pretty much miserable for a whole year, and I made my triumphant return a year later, and when I came back, I basically let the Greater Waterbury Cable Council hear my side of the story because I was live. The camera was on me. I came back and I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Before I went before I went live, I said I have to air before I continue with the season. I gotta let everything out and explain to my fans, explain to my viewers what happened, my side of the story, and I knew that that the Greater Waterbury that the GWCC was going to watch because they watch everything that I do because I was already on the radar. So you kind of get where I'm going with when Howard Stern and Jerry Springer are on FCC's most wanted list. I was I was there, the I was the Howard Stern and Jerry Springer to the GWCC's FCC. Just saying. So there's a pattern here. So I went and gone and said what I had to say. And I told them I told them my side of the story. And I knew that they were listening. And I told them straight up my side of the story live in front of everybody. Some people said I shouldn't have done that, but that maybe I shouldn't have said it, but I knew what I was doing because I was denied my they denied me my right to speak. And that was the whole point. That was the whole point of that. So because of that, and I continued on with the rest of the season. Then then a year or so ago went by, and and then I had another incident where I got suspended for a year again. So my show was canceled for another year. And this involved a this particular incident involved my former co-host at the time. Her name is Boo Boo Kitty. She, I gave her blessing to do a show and everything like that. I gave her a blessing, even though she didn't need me to. She didn't need she didn't need me to give her a blessing. I mean, if she wanted to do it, and I told her, I said, you don't need my permission. It's like if you want to, you don't need my blessing. If you want to go and do it, do it. Venture out there. Don't let me hold you back. So, and that's the thing about me. It's like if you want to, if anybody, you know, as long as I was able to, and I pushed a lot. a lot of people at that time to venture out and do their own show. And I was pretty much a an okay guy when it comes to that, because whatever anybody wanted to do, I said, listen, it's like, you know, yeah, they came, yeah, they would, I respected that they all came to me for, that the people that that worked with me said, hey, I want to, go do my own thing. And it's like, whether it was going to school, doing, or moving or whatever. And it's like, you got to do what you got. And it's like, and I told them, I said, you got to do what you got to do. And it's like, don't let me hold you back. And it's like, I'm not the type of person that's going to say, no, you can't do that. And it's like, because, you know, you made your mark on, under my program. Now, you know, you have enough have enough board to do your own thing, whether it's do another show on another network or do another show on the same network on a different time slot. Doesn't matter. You don't need me to hold, you don't need me. So as long as you can do what you can. I'm willing, you know I'm always going to be, and you always have a home here, and it's like I left it open for everybody. So the same story I said to her. Now she goes and, now Boo Boo Kitty, she goes and does her own show, and I've been on there a couple of times because it was a lot of fun. But then there was a moment where she got into some trouble. She broke a lot of rules in the guidelines. She got her show got canceled, but and she was banned from the studio because of it. Whatever the case was, it's not my place to talk about. But she she couldn't come back to the studio. Weeks later, I one night I'm working late. I'm working late on my other job, and I probably should have said, everybody take the day off, and because I'm not really feeling it. That's something I should have done. But I was destined to do a show and everything. That episode was not really one of my best shows. So, and I was tired. So, and I was having one of these things, to stay awake, and and the coffee and all that stuff. So I wasn't. No, I was trying to stay awake, and I almost got into an accident on the way to the studio. Long story short. So it wasn't. I wasn't. My judgment was over, and I felt like falling asleep on the live program. That's how tired I was. So Boo Boo Kitty shows up into the studio unannounced, and she comes on. She's wearing this cor- um this corset. Um, Everybody knows what that is, and she was a hot mess. She looked horrible. Her breath smelled the liquor, and I can smell, and that's the thing about me, is that, which is why Tom Dog um came in handy. She reeked of alcohol, and it was vodka. She is not good holding down her vodka whatsoever. And so and this was really strong vodka. And she she was swearing. She was fondling, touching her breasts and everything. And luckily, she didn't strip or anything like that, because I definitely would not. I would have been fired or something like that. But she was, she was swearing, she was um, grabbing, rubbing her chest and everything like that, um, provocatively, and she was just a friggin' hot mess, and it was horrible. I should have cut to a commercial then, cut to a PSA then, but I don't know what the hell happened. And I said, you know what, just gonna, I was live, and this was all live. And I said, you know what, just go, go, just go. I was like, talk to you later. So, my, and the whole episode sucked anyways. And I was, you know, after the the show was over, I was pissed off, and like that pissed me off. I was like, what the hell were you thinking, doing something like that? And I was like, are you out of your mind? And she was too drunk to think about to know what was going on. Next day, I get the phone call. Steve calls me up and says, "Hey, Tom, what the hell happened?" And we can't put that on the loop. Um, we can't put that on the loop this weekend. I was like, "What the hell happened?" And I was like, and I explained to him, it's like, "I'm sorry, Steve." And I told him my side of the story, and I take full responsibility and everything like that. And I have no excuse. I don't know. I nobody. I wasn't aware that she wasn't. It's like, she didn't tell you. It's like, no, she did not tell me. She didn't tell me that she was gone. That she wasn't supposed to be at the studio. And it's like, nobody. And it was like, I honestly did not know. She neglected to tell me about that. So it's like, he understood and everything. Yeah, but still, he was upset. It's like, what, I gotta, I gotta. It's like, I know, I accept full responsibility on that. So, anyways, so I got the year suspension. So technically I was canceled again. And year later, came back, and I told them of course, I told them my side of the story. However, it wasn't the way I, you know, that anybody was expected, because when I came back, you know, I explained the situation, what happened, and I assured everybody, I assured the viewers and the staff and everything like that, that nothing like that would ever happen again. For the remainder of the season, I was miserable. I started feeling miserable and everything like that. And then YouTube started coming along and everything like that. And I just wasn't, I just didn't have it in me anymore. I was basically unhappy, is probably the best word that I can describe that. So I called up the studio before, a few days before I was supposed to go live, and called up Steve, and I called up Lisa, and I haven't, and it's like, I don't have, um, I pretty much let go of my director and everything like that, and I was just feeling miserable. I really was. And I pretty much told them that, you know I I parted, out of retrospect, I kind of parted ways with them because of how unhappy I was. I never really said this until now. And I told, but I didn't really say it like that. I pretty much told them that I wanted, um I just want to hang it up, just pretty much basically, um no longer do shows for the studio anymore. And they were a little bit disappointed because of the fact that you know they've always the studio always loved what I do. I've always you know th- there was nothing bad to say about me behind the scenes because I pretty much got along with everybody that came, that with pretty much any executive producer that came out of there. So pretty much in a way, I parted ways with the studio, and so I kind of played it safe so that if an opportunity ever came along where somebody from other shows wanted me to come on as a guest, I was more than welcome. By the way, happy anniversary, happy 25th to Sky 13. I know their 25th anniversary was this month, so yeah. Um, so yeah, happy anniversary to them. Um, it, I'm, so yeah, I was really miserable. I was literally miserable doing doing that. I didn't tell them that, but in my mind, I was. So I felt the need to just say I just didn't want to do it anymore. Just pretty much call it quits. I wanted to venture out and see what I had, and I was pretty much drained at that point. So I took a year off, um, and then in 2012 I started doing things on this platform, and the rest is history. And it's the fact that I pretty much parted ways with them. So I left on good terms with them. And you know, one of my closest friends, um, her name is Brenda. She keeps messaging me. It's like, you ever want to come back, you're more than welcome to, do some shows and everything. And I said, I don't want to hurt her feelings and say no. I don't want to go back there because of how miserable I was. But but in reality, I don't want to go back because of how miserable I was. Because if I went back and turn on their cameras instead of this one here, I couldn't swear. I couldn't, if the opportunity came for it, I couldn't like, well, I could do that. I couldn't um advertise like, the stuff that I do here, or mention any prizes, because sometimes I do that on here. So yeah, I'm a lot happier on here because I have some sort of free range to do stuff within reason. So, but here I have a lot more freedom, and I don't have to worry about the Greater Waterbury Cable Council up my ass, or even the FCC up my ass. So I don't have to worry about that. So yeah, I pretty much parted ways with them. So you know, parting of the ways can mean a lot of things. Tucker Carlson's case, bottom line, he got fired. Let's be realistic. He got fired. They just don't want to say, they just didn't want to say that he got fired, so they had to use that to mask the reality that he did get fired. Don Lemon, same scenario. However, we don't know what really happened on as to why Don Lemon got fired. So yeah, he got fired. So yeah, when they say parting ways in reference to Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon, they got fired. Just saying. But you know, parting of the ways, like I said, parting of the ways can mean so many things. I experienced it. Don and Tucker, they experienced it, but on a whole different level than what I went through. And but I'm going to let you know on something right now. I'm never going to part ways with here. I'm never going to part ways with here because, like I said, the only time I part ways with you, with this show and YouTube and everything like that, with my channel and YouTube and everything like that, is on my deathbed. I'm going to part ways live, and that's it. And the story. And we don't know when that's going to happen. I'm going to be here until either I pass away or YouTube no longer exists. Just saying. So, who's going to win? Who's going to win? Is it Tom Dog or YouTube? Who's going to fold first? Who's going to fold? Leave it up to you. I'm looking at the time, and we got to call it a night here. I'm doing a little bit something different than my usual ending and everything, but I do strongly suggest that you do the things I always say to do on the channel there. You know, support small streamers and of course, face hug that subscribe button. I know I'm phoning it in or just being lazy with it, but um, you know, and of course, comment down below. But tonight I'm doing a little bit something different, and out of respect to Jerry Springer. And I'm going to leave you with this final thought. And I was supposed to write it. I was supposed to write one, and I didn't. So I'm going to do the best that I can from in here. We all come and go. It's part of life. Whether it's someone you miss, whether it's someone that you watch all day on, all the time on TV, or just, not doing it anymore. It can mean either death or just saying goodbye without without even dying. Folks, it's a part, and whether the case may be, it's a part of life. Whether or not that person will come back so that they feel missed, whether it's up in the pearly gates or just by turning on that camera once more. Either way, we're always going to be there for you. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.